Hello, this is episode one of Rob the Builder Paints. So, I wanted to show you or share with you my kind of story and how I started doing oil paints because I kept seeing, well, you know what? Bob Ross is painting and he says that we should be able to paint too. So one day I decided let me see if I could do this. So I painted about 75 to 100 paintings later, learning how to process or how to paint. So what I'm going to show you today is how I get to where I'm actually creating paintings. Sorry about that. So this is kind of like my canvas. So I'll get started. So I have a canvas, a white canvas, but it has black gesso. And gesso, it's allowed to dry. And so I am going to put a clear, I'm going to use clear basically to kind of coat my canvas. Don't worry about putting it on too thick because you can always wipe it down. And I have, so you're just going to want to make sure that this is how you blend paint. And so, you put a little bit here, it makes it, and then you can smear it. It seems like it's really thick, like jelly or a thick, like, I don't know, like it almost feels like cement or, I don't know, like an epoxy. So it seems like it's really thick. In some spots it is. So you just have to, I won't have to put any more on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and spread. Just want to see what it looks like. Don't mean to stand in the way, but when I'm done, it'll look pretty smooth. Because if you have it on too thick, the liquid clear, then what it'll do is it won't look right. It'll actually be runny. Then, because I think it's on pretty good, I'm going to go take some paper towels and I'm going to wipe off the excess. And you'll spread it. So this is the way you can cover the canvas with this liquid clear. And because you want it to blend, but you don't want it to be over. Because what it'll do, your paint will start running. And you don't want to do that. So basically what I did was I covered the whole canvas with liquid clear, and then you start putting your clear medium on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of I'd like to do a forest with a river. I think I made a painting like that before, but and so I use these chip brushes. You can get those from Menards, Lowe's, and you just really want to, I have like mineral spirits. You really want to get as clean as you can, and then you're going to go into, I'm going to use some yellow, some cadmium yellow. I have my kind of board, and then you're going to go, so right in the center, that's going to be kind of our light source. So what it's going to look like, it's going to look like a forest. So if you can see right in the center, that's going to be like the forest. And so, and then you're going to we're going to have a reflection. So right about here, right about here, we're going to have a little bit of so you're going to have it, we're going to have it so it reflects. So as you can see, as wide as you have, you just want to make sure it evens itself out. So what I'll do is I'll come over here. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a glare, but okay. I just don't want it to have too much okay, I'm just trying to fix my light so it's not as, yeah, so you can kind of see. So, actually now it's making it so I can't see. Let me go ahead and, all right. So yeah, so basically what you want to do is you want to go ahead and make sure your light source, and you can, and we're going to put, so that is our light source. So all I did was, and then you could say, well, you know, I can put, I'm going to put some green. So I'm going to do this, the same thing. I'm going to go like this. So this is going to be a forest. So we're going to put green up there. There's really not going to be any sky. So it's going to be kind of, so as you can see, you'll start seeing the, okay, so with that being said, now I'm going to take a little bit of the white, as you'll see what's going to happen. I'm going to take the corner and be like, so I want you to see, so as you can see, this is where the light source is coming from. And then I'm going to put a little bit, you'll see when we put the river. So basically what we're doing is we're just putting a light source. And so as we work ourselves out, and we kind of, so keep in mind, this is the source of it. So kind of a forest. You're thinking, is this Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory? Is this that tunnel? So it's if you want to think, it's like the light. And you just want to just, I don't want it to be too bright, so you just want to make it so it's, and then you're just going to go like this. So as you can see, and you'll probably start to see how we don't want too much white in, but you want to put enough on it. So, and you're just going to go. So kind of one of the easier paintings you can do. So so you don't want this to be brighter, because you're basically going to cover, this is your light source right here. So you kind of want it to be like, okay. So now I'm going to use a different brush because I want it to blend. I know, my wife hates that, so she's sleeping right now. So, as you can see, this is my blending brush. So we're going to try to, we kind of want to get rid of the brush marks. Brush strokes. Yeah. So, as you can see, you'll see the reflection, right? So this is, it's kind of like the trees, and we're going to make it so that we're going to have some distant trees, and then we're going to have like, it's almost like this is a lake. It's going to reflect. But I also want to make it so it kind of reflects the light of the trees. So here's where your painting's going to be like it's not going to be dark until you get out this way. So that's the light coming in. So anything in the middle is going to kind of be, I'm going to use a fan brush. And my fan brush, I'm going to, so now I can do a little green. So what you want to do is, and you'll see right around here, see if you can see that. You want to kind of mimic. Now, let's see. So you see how the light, I'm just going to, so as you can see, it's lighter. And so as you can see the light source coming through, then you get a little darker, right? So you don't want to make it too, but you want to be like, so as you're going to get a little darker. So, as you can see how can you see how the branches are formed? So I'm going to go a little darker because we want to make sure. And if you want, you can take a tiny bit of liquid clear. So what I'm going to do is I want you to kind of see. kind of right. And so as you start working yourself out, you want to start getting a little darker. So as we do that, as you can see how it's starting to be a little bit more green? And you want to make sure that, you know, yeah, see, and you want to make sure it's, right, yeah, you want to, so, and as you do that, so you want to keep with the darker colors. So now, and I keep all of my paints. So what I do is I use this. I use cardboard. So yes, I have you know, I have one of these, the palette, painting palettes. I have one of these, but look what happened to it. It got harder and harder to clean the paint off. I said, you know what? It's a lot easier. It was a lot easier using paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting a little bit more paint on there because it's going to start getting a little bit more vibrant. It's already dark, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is you can start seeing now. And so when you want to make sure that so now that you have, so then what you're gonna do is you're gonna make like the it's gonna start coming out more at you, and you're gonna start going like, well, hey, you know, I wanna. And you're gonna be like, okay, that's cool. So let me go. As you can see the light. You want to have some light because it's. So what I'm trying to, it's like you're through the clearing, so it's going to kind of stand out a little bit more because you want a little bit of light reflections on it. And I'll show you what I mean. This is my envision. I don't know if you can see that, right? So it's light, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start making it a little bit more like this reflections, and we're going to make it so that we're going to have like shrubs and bushes and stuff. So I'm going to put a little bit more, and I'm going to do this, right? to see this. If you can see it, you definitely want to have. Do you see how you can see that a little bit? You want it to be dark. As you can see this over here, you want it to be a little dark, okay? But you can still see. And so here's what I want to do. I want to go ahead and focus in on, let's make bushes. So we basically got, okay. So now we want to go, and we're going to go ahead, and so I'm going to let that soak. But I want to take, let's see, I'm just trying to find a brush that I want to. So I have this brush right here. It's kind of seen better days. And you want to clean it. I have everything. I kind of like, if you think about it, I have a easel that consists of 2x4s with a cross piece. I have my canvas, and I have screws, and this is just a poor man's easel. So this is what I do. I have an old desk. I have a TV up there in the corner. That actually is my. So then I'm going to say, well, what can I do to so I want to know, how can I do this? So So this is going to create like light. So if you think about it, that's light that's coming. So what we're going to do is, I'm just trying to create like reflections. Like this is the sunlight through the trees. And so above here, I'm going to do the same thing. Like, okay, this is, and you can do however you want to do it, but this is why I vision. I said, yeah, the main light is through there, but there is still light. So what I do is I reflect this into the water, right? So you want to make sure that you put the amount of reflections in here, and you can do the reflections of in the water too. So this is what I mean by that. So here I'm going to go like this. This is fine. And you're going to go like this. And you're going to go. So as you can see it now, and this isn't what I envisioned. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create bushes, and the bushes are going to reflect kind of what I'm looking at, and it's going to be bushes along the river. So I can see that. basically I wanted to have some type of I'm trying to figure out. So a lot of times, sometimes I just look at things. I go, you know what? I'd like to have this here. So sometimes I'll go, well, what can I do? So this is kind of like, and I'm like, well, what do I do? So what I'm trying to do is a little, no, it's not what I want. So sometimes you just have to improvise, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go. So what I'm going to do is maybe yeah, sometimes it's hard to see it. Yep. You see how you do it, and then you just reflect it in the water. It's going to be a real simplistic painting. And this is what we're going for. So now, since we've done that, so now the thing is, what do we do? So now you could actually go in. So what I do is I try to leave any brushes that I have paint on. I say, okay, what do I want to do? Trees. So now I figure, well, maybe I can do trees, like trees, as in with trunks and branches and stuff. So I go ahead and I find my brown, and then I can go, okay, let's see. So I want to make sure. Okay, good. Sometimes it's hard for me to see which one's brown or not. So I go ahead, and as you can see, I wanted you to see along there's a bank, and there's kind of like trees, and I want to go ahead and, okay. So what I can do is I can use I have a palette knife, and I have the old original Bob Ross brush set, but you can see how I take care of them. I didn't know how to take care of them. But 100 paintings later, and see, this is my palette knife, so it's kind of messed up. So you probably can't see that, but you can see it there. Yeah, well, it's hard to do tree trunks, but yeah, you should be able to see that. Yeah, yeah. So Now, how do I do this now? Since it's so now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the reflections. So here's where it gets a little tricky. So you know that that's it's already reflecting on there, which is great. So I may not need to smear and do the reflections because I did the reflections here, right? So if you think about it, all that light is coming through. So it's like, okay, there's light coming from both sides, but dead center is where the main light's coming through and it's reflecting in the pool. So if I go like this, and then you go, yeah, you just don't want to be like, and so you're going like, well, I think we need some more reflections over here. So what I do is I go, yeah. So you see the reflections and you go like this. But what I want to do is I want to think, well, how do you make these stand out? So so then I'll just go and I'll put, so now let's see, what do we do? You see what I'm saying? My dilemma is how do I do this? What do I do differently? Let's see. Sometimes you just gotta stare a little bit. It's like, well, where can I make some changes? So now what I can do is I can make tall grasses and act like they're like, so I say, well, where can I make the tall grasses at? You know, so right here, I'm trying to make some type of like grass, like, so I may, so with that being said, now I take a brush and I'm going to take it, I may take a, Yeah, you see that. So, all right, let me pause because, all right, bear with me 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to kind of bring, yeah, so you need something that's going to stand out, and you're going to need something with more, like, more pop. And, like, I don't know how this is going to look when I'm done. Generally, it tends to look pretty good because we need to show distance. So I need to show, so do I need to do this? Because here I'm showing the edge, and I kind of want to do this, and you can make it as simplified as you need to. So when you look at it, you can nickel dime it to get death, but because I cannot see, it's hard. You can probably see it, but it's hard for me to see it because I can't see to this side. So I got my tree, but I don't want to do anything else to it. I like to have trees so we know it's really tall and you're right in front of it and there's reflection. So what I do is, so you kind of want to highlight the tree. Say, okay, great, because the light source is coming from this way. And since there is no reflection of the tree, now you want to say, okay, what can I do? What can I do to this? Is there anything else I can do? So it's for 40 minutes we've been painting this. So this is what I have so far. So I just want to let you know it can be as simple as this. And you could say, okay, well, here's the river, here's the light source, here's the reflection, There's trees, and there's looks like there's light coming through. You see the light reflecting in a tree. And you can be as simple as that. And so you can, if you like, you can sign your name. Now, I haven't gotten really good at this, so I'm going to do something as simple as this. Now, I'm terrible at signing. So I'll go here and I'll go like this. So there in the corner, it's done. All right, thank you. This is the first episode of Rob the Builder Paints. Thank you.